Hey y'all, really quickly, spread the word, send this everyone you know to our six old faithful subscribers. Make your family subscribe. Just turn off notifications. We're trying to change platforms to YouTube Live. We want to do it live because we're a little bit over the fakeness of AI. And we want you guys to see us fail in real time and, just face plant like we normally do. It's cool. We have a barrier to entry though, and that is 50 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We're at 35. Send, share, just click. Link will be in show notes. Thank you kindly.
Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Rachel.
How well, okay, let's just start this off right. Without saying how tired we both are. How else are you?
I'm very overwhelmed.
Okay.
Can I say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so currently, I've got my daughter and granddaughter and her boyfriend, fiance, whatever, living with us. So my house is very full. We have one bathroom, which is the I'm gonna say one of the biggest hurdles, but we don't have a
Yeah.
huge house. We have plenty of space, um, but there is a lot of stuff here,
Oh yeah.
and I don't do well with lots of stuff, but I'm
hmm
I'm doing my best.
You're doing your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
I am a little overwhelmed too. I'm cat sitting. I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
you're
I am
cat sitting.
allergic
Oh
to
yeah.
cats.
Yes.
And
Let's
I'm like, well,
preface with
I'm
that.
also doing my best. Um,
Uh,
so she doesn't put off a lot of dander.
oh yeah.
And it's summer, so everything's wide open,
Well,
open
we
with
currently have
airflow.
dogs in the
Oh
house.
yeah. Yeah.
And one of them, I
Mm.
mean, so the little one is very, I would say skittish. He barks so much at us because he doesn't know us that well. But the other one is just like a sweet dog, but very long haired. And so I was having this conversation with my daughter night before last, and I said, I think I'm gonna have to vacuum every day because the hair. And she said, "Oh, I'll do that." And yesterday I came home and she had vacuumed everything. So
Oh nice.
I
I
think that
have
is
been
helping. Yeah.
It probably is. Anything's helping.
Yeah.
I've been brushing her at least once a day.
Uh-huh.
And then making sure I sweep, and a little regularly.
Yeah.
So she doesn't put off a ton of hair and dander, but just in case, so I don't.
Right.
And then Sarah's allergic too, so when she comes over, I'm like, no, 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 I brushed her, it's fine. She's not like the most like outgoing, affectionate. She's super timid and shy. So like 9 times out of 10, she'll sleep in the corner and never,
Yeah.
she's there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's how their big dog is.
Yeah.
She's just like lays around, super sweet, doesn't bug you.
hmm
Um, she's very sweet. The little one is also sweet, but she's a barker.
Yeah. That's a
Randy
tough
and I,
thing.
Randy and I get up early, and she's in the room with my daughter and her boyfriend, and she will start barking
Mm.
when she hears us outside
And
of
the
the
whole
room.
house is up.
Oh yeah, she's just like,
Mm.
who is here? Who is here?
Oh yeah, she's doing her job,
So,
mom, doing her job.
But they're in the process of moving, so they're staying with us for a few weeks so that they can get a house and a job and all the things.
Yeah.
Their lease is up, so they had to be out of that house, but they were in, even though there's no job yet or no house yet. But they're going down there next week to find all of the above. So hopefully
Okay.
they'll be successful. Yeah.
And are you keeping the
Okay.
grand?
Uh-huh.
Are you keeping the grand when they go?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Roommate 2 and 3 are gonna keep her during the day when I go to work, so
Mm,
I think they'll rotate or whatever. But she loves the baby. Roommate two's daughter.
hmm
And so um she loves to play with her, so roommate two will probably
Nice. Yeah.
uh enjoy having somebody to entertain her.
Socialization. Yeah.
Yes, because that baby doesn't like to be alone at all for 5 seconds or put down. She is very attached. Um, I don't know how she's surviving my daughter because she literally can't do anything without her. Yesterday, she came to the shop to get waxed and um, get her hair cut, and I washed her hair. Of course, there was no drying it, but trying to wax was challenging with her because she was just like wanting to crawl up
Mm.
mom, and we're trying to do waxing. So anyway, it was fun, but she's getting so
Well,
big.
I know. I can't wait to see her. I'm
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I booked it in October, but I'm like, dang it. But she's getting, I think, a little bit older. It's better. They don't, it's like they're
Yeah.
not gonna remember it anyway, but
Right.
I'm excited to see her.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we have a bit of news. Um, do you want to share the news and I'll share the topic?
Mm. Oh, that this is our season finale. Okay.
Yes.
So
You're like, what are you talking
I'm
about?
like, okay, the news. Okay, so yeah, this is gonna be our season finale. So we have like 30 episodes.
Yeah,
This will be episode 31. And we're going to take a short summer break for about 4 to 6 weeks. So we're gonna be gone next
a little
weekend.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the following,
Travel,
and then a couple more weeks we're going to the gorge. So
Labor Day.
yes.
But yeah, we do have travel coming up, so it makes it a little more challenging to do the thing. So we'll
Yeah.
probably try and do a break anyway. And I think moving forward, we'll probably do I don't know, 15 at a time and take a break,
Right.
maybe instead of 30. But we do have travel coming up, so that makes it harder. So
Yeah.
that's sort of where we're set at. And
So
then
this will be season 1 finale. We're very excited for everybody who's listening. If you are listening and you like our podcast, please share it. Share it on social, share it wherever. We'd like to get a little more traction and more interest, especially in the book. Which this is also something we can be working on while we're on a little break, hiatus.
correct.
Getting a publisher and whatnot, or continuing to try get a publisher. Yes. So we will start doing that so this will air in August, and then we won't be back till mid to end September. So
Yep. And drum roll, please. Our topic today is women in power. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that came about. So I have a one of my clients who we always end up having really fascinating conversations. Her and I do. It's a woman, and she is in her 70s, and she has done quite a bit of work in political parties in the past, but mostly like as a lone wolf, like kind of doing her own, piece of the campaign puzzle, not necessarily working with other people. And then she's also held pretty powerful positions herself in conflict resolution within international relations, in policy and politics. But she's never because she's in her 70s, she's never really worked a ton like with women who were her peers or with a group of women collaboratively. It's usually been men around her, or she's working with a group of men and women all together. It wasn't ever like her and one other woman having to hash things out. And with the development of a potential female, the Democratic Party candidate for the Democratic Party is projected to be Kamala Harris, which is a female, would be potentially our first female president in the United States. And so she asked me a question. My client did, as she was leaving, because we were chatting briefly about that. And I found it interesting because she said, her question was, how do you feel, or what has your experience been about with women in power? And and I said, generalizing, I said, well, in general, I think that they tend to be more fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think from what I've experienced personally, I've seen them at least be willing to take on multiple points of view and see it from a different perspective, more so than men who tend to rule on agenda and purpose and singularity of authority, rather than women. Most who I have seen have either collaborated with other people when they don't know something or not an expert on the topic, or they're willing to collaborate to come up to an opinion based on several other people's input. So meaning they're very willing to work towards what works best for all in a democratic thing. And I found that's why oops, just dropped my mic.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you for just a second.
Got it. Well, I generally that was my general response initially. And that was kind of like off the cuff, really not giving it too much thought. But I did have a little bit of, I guess, statistics stuff to think of when I responded. And what I was referring to in terms of that statistical thing was that there is data out, excuse me, that is on judicial positions where females hold a judicial spot. And statistically speaking, judicial statistics, USA, of course, I'm talking about the USA for oops. But anyway, I know this is to be fact. I'm just looking it up right now for female judges. So basically, I was referring to this statistic, National Association of Women Judges, that shows just based on male to female that women tend to be more fair and more less purgorial, like giving more punishment, more punitive sentences, and to be more fair.
They have more of a heart.
Yeah, across the board in all judging positions. And I wasn't even considering anything else other, but then, I was like, well, okay, just thinking in our country, we have Condoleezza Rice, she was in authority, Janet Yellen, Nancy Pelosi. I'm thinking of high positions of power where they were in a pretty significant governmental role. Of course, now we've had a vice president, and then potentially we'll have a president. So that's what I was referring to when I told her that. But then as I left, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, hello, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, right? And Ketanji Brown Jackson, now RGB, and then we have Amy Coney Barrett also sitting on the Supreme Court. right? Which is more women than we've ever had, and right on that seat of power in the US, which is unfortunately becoming more and more let's say transgressive as we speak about precedent and other issues. But then so I mentioned that to her later, right? After the fact, you're always like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know. After I'm like, oh yeah, that was duh. But then I went and looked up because I was like, no, I know there's plenty of women in other democratic countries that hold the highest form of leadership in the land, and there's a ton of them. So Iceland, let's see, Canada, Prime Minister of Canada has been a woman. President of Ireland has been a female, not currently, but before. President of Finland, President of Lithuania, President of Croatia, states or heads of government, Slovakia, Denmark, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Prime Minister of Estonia, Prime Minister of Namibia, President of Greece, President of Moldova, Prime Minister of Lithuania, President of Ethiopia. Presently, she is currently President of Georgia is a woman. Currently President of the Marshall Islands is a woman. Former Prime Minister of Peru was a woman. Former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Former President of the Philippines. Former President of Chile. President of Malawi. Prime Minister of Norway. President of Switzerland prior. Prime Minister of Netherlands. I could go on.
Yeah.
There's many, right? Many. So I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. However,
it is a big deal in the United States.
It is a big, yes.
It's always been a man.
She said that to me. So that was her thing. She was like, I've never, other than my lone wolf jobs, women of my age or generation, right, were never technically given the opportunity for any type of power, right?
Sure.
So that tracks. I was like, that makes perfect sense, because in a lot of cases they had to either fight their way to the top over other men, and have to be twice as good, right? And do twice as much work for half the pay to get to where, they wanted to be if they were looking to change things or be in politics or, a higher position of power in government or, any other company.
I mean, if you even take like corporations, you don't hear a ton of corporations that are led by a woman.
That is changing. It is changing gradually, but yeah, it's certainly, there's certainly not complete gender equity, or what I mean. It's not spread equally still.
Sure.
But that really struck me. And so I wanted to bring that idea to you and then talk about it in terms of our experience with women in power and what that was like in the cult thing, you know, in our growing up, and or what it maybe wasn't like. And then also I think that there's a tie-in here to, like, especially the way like things are coming up in like I'll mention like Politics Project 2025, but I'm also thinking of like pay scale still isn't right. No. Equitable. I'm thinking of like a couple things where it's like the ERA hasn't even passed, for fuck's sake. I mean, that's been going on since what, the 80s, and it's literally like sitting right there, and it's not, you know what I mean? Because our our Congress, right, is not, I mean, it's more female than it used to be, but it's not
that's
fully.
One thing that is always challenging, no matter what president, and this is in politics, but
I gotta get more ice for my coffee.
The Senate behind the president, then nothing ever gets done because nothing can pass. So that is always a challenge. I feel like the president, is supposed to be the highest thing in the land, right, of the US, but they also have to have the backing of the Supreme Court, which is why there is that, so that there's not just one person doing like a dictatorship. even though every president that gets in office, I feel like immediately starts signing executive orders and like
Well, but
doing all
there's
this stuff
only so
trying
much
to.
power to that,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, yes, so they do all this, but then a lot of times the stuff doesn't even go
Yeah,
through
if they
because
can't pass laws on it, it
yes,
only lasts for their term. And the
sure,
reason they can't pass laws is Congress isn't doing crap for us right now. They're just putting stupid shit on the ballot
just
that affects
arguing about
nobody. Yeah.
everything. Yeah,
Well, it's all become a media horror thing. And that's why
yeah.
nothing gets done. And it's like whoever can get on news the most, it's kind of a reality TV show gone really wrong. I gotta blow my nose. Hang on.
I will agree with that. The reality TV show comment because um and the I have just been appalled at watching this, and some of the stuff that is coming out of these candidates' mouths is so appalling.
Yeah.
I'll use JD Vance for instance.
Mm.
The person that president or
Childless
President
cat
Trump
ladies.
said, he said that people should be married, and if you don't have children, you shouldn't get to vote.
And if you have
And
kids, you get double votes.
oh
One
yeah,
for
so
each kid.
your kids get a vote, but what they get a vote what you believe. So it's absolutely like the things coming out of their mouth. I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. And why the fuck?
Well,
Oh my God, it's so scary.
our aunt, you know which one I'm talking about,
Yes.
sends me a text and goes, because she is a childless cat lady.
Yes.
And she sent me a text. It's so funny. I've just been like sending her memes back and forth about this because I always send her cat memes, right?
Yes.
And she goes, apparently I'm a part of a new political party. Oh, I was cracking up.
It's weird that we only have two recognized parties in the US.
It is, and most countries have more. Well, we do have. There's green. There's libertarian. Right. There is more parties, but
But
yeah,
they're not
we are
recognized.
two-party system. In yeah,
Yes.
and that is frustrating. I think the electoral college should be done away with because that is really not typically representative. We have two for every state. I'm like California has like the most populace of any country. We still only have
I kind of disagree with you a little bit on the electoral. I think maybe it should be rearranged a bit, but I definitely think so. States with smaller populace will have no voice ever if they do away with that, which I know that originally it was set up
yeah,
so that
that was set up when there was like 7,000 people in California.
sure.
Now there's like
Sure.
right, what is it, like a third of like it's just under a third
Of the population
of the
US.
population. Yeah. So I'm like, it's kind of a like shit show there again.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan. Like, I mean, one person, one vote would make a lot of sense if we did it that way. It's just, I
Right.
think, never going to happen because popular vote would win every
Well,
time.
and the amount of people that don't vote is appalling.
It should be a requirement.
Yeah.
I think you should get a fine if you don't, if you're eligible and you don't. Like a speeding ticket, get a fine.
And a lot of times the people who complain the most don't vote.
I know, and it should be a national holiday, so everybody
gets off work and you get to be able to vote. I agree with that. It definitely should be. It is in some countries.
Yeah. Well, I also think it needs to be easier access, and I don't care if they need ID. That's fine.
Well, and
I don't care about that.
Why can't you go on an app and make a vote?
You should be able to. I know.
Well,
we haven't done enough in cybersecurity fields, I think, for that.
That's probably true.
That's lack of government, though, because they don't want to regulate it because there's too much lobbying money for tech. So, yeah.
Well.
Anyway, okay. So let's. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about our experience with that, like in the cult, for a moment. I'm gonna go lose a few real quick.
Okay. So, when we grew up, the idea of a woman being in charge or being even the pastor or a deacon or any of those things in relation to church, was absolutely not even a consideration. Men were definitely the ultimate power, and you did whatever they said. I think that we did not, I don't think they're ever, I mean, I would say, okay, so maybe teachers in the classroom, that would be considered maybe a leadership of some sort. So we had, female teachers throughout school. So they were, basically our teacher leader. But as far as anything goes, like the principals, we never had a female principal.
Right.
It was always male. Male dominated that cult. I mean, it
Well,
definitely did. As far
again,
as
we
not
talked about
necessarily populist, but like by
hierarchy.
positions of leadership. Yes.
Right. There was never a time where a woman was able to like not defer to a man that was higher
Yes,
than her for a
for sure.
decision. And that was let's say biblically interpreted from the Bible to be the correct thing to do.
Interpreted their way. Correct.
And I will say that I think it's important because if we look at like some of the and I haven't read all 900 pages of it, but this Project 25 that's been rolled out by Heritage Foundation.
Oh my God.
But it's basically the same thing.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So it's not like we haven't seen this show before.
Right.
Which is why it's relevant now and why our experience with that and what it did or how it vulnerabilized, made vulnerable women because they didn't have a voice.
Sure.
It is relevant now because I'm like, we've seen the same show. We lived it, for our first 18, 19 years. So, we can kind of tell you exactly where it's going. It's going to, abuse of power, abuse of women, lack of rights, which we've already seen, in the last 2-3 years, multiple rights get taken away from females, right? From general population, right?
Yeah.
We're losing rights left and right with the Supreme Court decisions that have come down in the past years. And that's overturning 50 years of precedent. Sure. And so we know where that's going. It is. It's straight to Handmaid's Tale, directly out of the Bible.
It's scary shit. So my husband or Randy and I were discussing the Project 2025 and it came out of his mouth, and he's definitely more conservative than I am, and he was like, "Oh, it's straight up Handmaid's Tale." He said, "Well, I had to research it because I needed to know."
Yeah.
He said a lot of people are talking about it, and I feel like you shouldn't necessarily give your opinions on things you haven't researched and read. And so many people blindly follow these things. Like I've had people I know personally that would never be on board with some of the stuff in that thing. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be great." And I'm like, "Excuse me, like, have you actually read?" Well, obviously there's a million pages, so you can't.
900.
Okay, not a million, 900, but a lot of pages to this. And it's, but if you just, read through a lot of it and, skim over the main points, you're going to be like horrified. It's absolutely insanity. And I know I've seen a couple of, speeches from Trump who have said he's not behind Project 25, but also in the same thing, his running mate is 100% behind it. So like, what? And then, he says these things, but then he also goes, "Christians, get out and vote." And he said that. He literally said he's all for the Christians. I was watching this video last night of him talking. This was probably, it was when he was younger. And he said, before he even was thinking of presidency, and he said, if I was ever going to run for president, I would run with the Republicans because they're the dumbest people. And you could just make shit up and they'd believe you. It was literally his words. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this was from a recording from, years ago when he was younger and he wasn't obviously considering running for president, but it just made me go, whoa, like what the what? But nobody's researching anything like that. They're just believing. And I mean, I don't know. It's terrifying the amount of mind control and blindness people are using in following one person. So it terrifies me. And the news media obviously, runs a lot of what anybody believes and what we see. We were talking about this the other day. How do we even know anything is correct with the AI and everything? I watched a video of, it was Kim Kardashian and her head was shaved. I literally saw this video and she was saying she was changing gender and all this stuff. And I'm like, is this really true? And my kids are like, no, they took her words and used AI to make her say those things. You know what I mean? From like,
Yeah.
They just took her voice and were able to do it. And it sounded exactly like her. It was
Right.
like, holy crap. So
Well,
it always is just like terrifying that the media has so much power. And then how do we even know what they're telling us is true or correct? It's scary.
yeah. Well, and so what's his name? The X guy. He actually retweeted
Elon
a
Musk.
fake an AI video, right?
He put out a fake video?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so that's kind of, it violates the terms apparently of the platform to
Which he has
to post, but of course, since he owns the platform, he's not accountable.
He can do
to
whatever.
anyone.
There's no regulation.
Right, but
for him.
The Section 230, which it would Section 230 of the law is regulation of internet and web and stuff. But it's so vague, and the laws have not kept up, with technology advancing. Yeah. And so, I mean, they recently had a case where, basically what it would do is force like these big tech companies to identify fake information, right?
And there is stuff like that now on social, like, because I get people, I mean, I have friends from all beliefs and systems in this, and they'll post something and that's like real news, and if you click on it, it will say fake news, or you can look something up. So I do feel like there is a little bit of that in like at least the Instagram, Facebook, those types of social
platforms. Some of them are better than others, but the thing that really worries me, like, especially, so I feel as though because you and I grew up in such a weird environment where like everything that was told to us was absolutely false, or you know what I mean, it was just a system of beliefs that wasn't, it was based on ideology, not on fact.
And interpretation of the Bible, person. Which they lived by, right?
And basically we didn't have a choice. That's what we grew up in. So now, with that, let's say, real lived experience of what that is like, you and I have a little bit higher of a bullshit detector. And we're going to go ahead and actually research and do some looking into stuff before we are like shifted one way or the other. And also because we were first generation internet kids, we are able to kind of spot things because we grew up with it natively. Sort of as it advanced, we did too. So I think there's a whole lot of generations, particularly the ones older than us, So the boomers that are highly susceptible to this too. So they will see stuff and believe it and have no
Yeah.
idea that it's absolutely just a complete crock of shit.
Right.
And they'll think whatever they see on television and internet is absolute fact and have absolutely no like clue that it could
Mhm.
be completely made up, and they
Mhm.
just see it and believe it. And then
Mhm.
like I think our kids' generation, theirs is a little better, but they've also grown up on it natively. And then I also think that they get into spirals where they weren't taught any education about civics or government. So they're
Yeah.
almost like, because they don't have historical context for what's happening, that they're almost easier to like dupe into going, oh, that's it. I have no power over this, because they don't understand the operating system under which government happens. And that's scary too, right? So you have, one generation up that, believes everything they see, one generation down who probably doesn't believe anything. So how do you then, like
Yeah.
get real information out there without having an education of how to really parse through things and understand it contextually to figure out what is or is not fate, you know? Yeah, you did freeze
Sure.
up for a second there.
Yeah. I mean, you did too. So I was like, I didn't know, but it probably is on my end because I got a thing on my
Okay.
screen that said
I think the
connection
audio's
unstable.
fine, even if the
Yeah,
video
probably
went.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Um,
yeah, but it's tricky because you have kind of these two different, I'm not going to say biases, but they really are. And a lot of it's lack of education on like internet, integrity. And a
yeah.
lot of people just put out a ton. That's the other thing. If you look at propaganda machines, like I'm thinking of Russia, Germany, right? A lot of them do, historically speaking, Viktor Orban in Hungary, a lot of them do what's called flooding of the zone, meaning they just
Hmm.
put so much stuff out there that
Yes.
you get overwhelmed with trying to parse what's
I
real and
think
what's
most
not.
people do that. Yes.
And I think that that's where we're at. And it's sort of like, well, you can go
Yes.
to the source, and you can look at it and then read it for yourself. I mean, you can go to these websites and look at what is it that they're actually doing. Um,
Yeah.
the Republican Party's platform has never really been defined in the last 12 years. I don't even think they had one for
Mhm.
2020 election. And I don't think, other than the Project 2025, which Trump is denying is their platform, but if you look at it, it's
Mhm.
written by JD Vance wrote the foreword for the guy who wrote it. So it is underlined by the Republican Party, even though they're denying it. I think that is their new platform. But you just have to go to the website to read through it and see what
Yeah.
they're doing. And same thing,
Sure.
a lot of this stuff you can go look at. Roommate 4 and I were talking about her ballot the other day too. This is the first one after school that she's voting in like on her own.
Okay. Yeah.
And since she's no longer in school, she registered in Arizona. And so we were going through it, but I was like, well, I'm like, normally we do it over the phone when she was in college, but now I don't have that ballot, and it's a different
Right.
state and all that. So, I was trying to explain it to her. I was like, well, go to the county, right, or the website for, your area, and you can kind of
Mhm.
read through the candidates and see. I was like, and you just have to like read through their statements and see, what they're voting for. And if you're not going to align fully with any client or any candidate, nobody ever does, right? You're not going to find the perfect
Right.
candidate, but you are going to have some things that are important to you. And those are what you look at and see how they voted in the
Mhm.
past. And if those values align, the most important ones, just try and find someone who is like, whatever your baseline is it voting rights? Is it economy? Is it the environment, right? Is it female reproductive rights? Whatever it is, find the candidate that meets you on your most
Mhm.
important,
Important
value.
things. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, my client asked me this excellent question the other day, and I'm trying to think of all the things, but he was listening to a podcast, and it was he said he listens to both sides, like a podcast from
I
both sides
I
every
do
day.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to know, and he said they were asking these questions, and uh it was basically in order of importance, these 5 things. What is most important to you?
Hmm.
And it was like having a president under the age of 65.
Yeah.
Um,
Something we need to change. Like
yeah,
it's
having
age
a
gated at the
president.
bottom. We need to
Yeah,
age gated at the top.
right. But and putting these in order, having a president who served in the military, having a president who has children, having a president, what was the other two? It was very interesting. But both of these podcasts he was listening to had asked that question, and they were like putting them in order of importance. And I was like, so like it was just so crazy to me. Oh, having a president who is married. And they were just such like the topics, and I was like, it's very hard to like pick a top to bottom, but I think the top would be the age thing, you know, because
Well, we've seen that. I
there's
mean,
companies that make you retire after so long.
yeah, term limits are like one of my things where I'm just like,
Oh,
you know what? 20 years is a whole career.
yes.
Not only that, your younger generation's going to have a different experience than you. They're going to have
Sure.
different values. The freaking the economics of everything changes in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The value systems of generations change. With
Yeah.
right progress of time, right? There's more pressing issues than you had 20 years ago that are more pressing now. Kids can't afford things. Kids can't buy
Right.
homes. Kids
No.
can't get education. Kids are
Right.
having a hard time. It is challenging right now, and none of this is being addressed.
None.
There's the biggest transfer of wealth right now to the corporations and the older populations right now, and the younger generation is fucking struggling. And
Yeah.
they are not wrong. They are having a hard time, and it's not because of their avocado fucking toast. It is because
Right.
everything has gone exponentially up, but not their
Right.
wages have not. And they're struggling. And I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, your daughter is coming to live with you because she's same thing, right? She's wanting
Right.
better education, better job, right? Better all these things, and she's
Women.
not getting it.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's not getting that in Oklahoma. So yeah, she's moving to a state where there's a little more freedom. Not much, but you know.
Um, I just
Well,
got this. I don't think it shows any. Yeah. I saw this too, but one of my actually the client who I'm talking about on this that asked me that question just sent me this. Let's see if it shows up. Can you see it?
uh-uh.
Dang it. Okay. Turn down my brightness.
It looks like people at a table.
It's women in line with their cats. It says 2024 voting lines. I saw that one too.
Yeah, send that to our aunt.
I think I already did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's hilarious. She would be sending that to me. She doesn't even know we're recording this.
Yeah, that is funny.
She same one was asking me about the book and how it was going. And I was like, yeah, well, you'll have to listen to our last podcast. Yeah. So yeah, our experience was basically what I mean, generalization, what Project 2025, you know, it's basic
Yes.
things. You know, and so we're like, yeah, we already lived that. We kind of know where that's going, and that is not a good thing for women.
for men either. Men shouldn't have
I
that
know.
much. Like
I don't,
it's like,
and I think I know
oh
too many men that are not on board with that. I also feel very,
yeah,
very discouraged that women being in power is such a threat to men when I think it actually
it
empowers them
balances.
more. Hmm.
Yes, it helps to balance. Like there are not just men in this world, you know. And I'm not an anti-man person,
Mm-mm.
but I have a great husband. I know some great men. But why can't there be an okay, or why can't it be okay for a woman to make some decisions? It should never be questioned. Like that should be something that's not acceptable.
So, there's a guy. I'm actually gonna say his name and plug his book, his most recent book, Scott Galloway. I've come to value him. He tends to come off a little old school male in some ways. But he has this passion for I guess empathizing with the masculinity of men, like currently.
Mm-hmm.
But one of his things that he talks about a lot is what a man's role is and what true masculinity is. Um,
Mm.
and he defines it really simply. And I come back to this all the time because I think it's really important, especially when we're looking at female leadership. Um, is that a man's, like, the true definition of masculinity is protecting and providing.
Mm-hmm.
And in that protection, it's like protecting women's rights too, meaning, right, not just being like physical protector, but protecting
Right.
women and children and people, right, in that way. But also in
Yeah.
that protection means like promoting them and letting them have a voice and be in a position of power too. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like that definition of it because we've come into this like machismo sort of definition for men that I don't think is really helpful to a lot of guys, especially
Yeah.
in this age when I don't think there's a lot of examples for that.
Sure.
And I think he's right that that is it. And in that, there's a lot of room, for all kinds of forms of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, was it Adrift in America? No. Anyway, he did, you know what? It might not be out. It might not be out. He's still writing it, I think. Anyway, it's typically he's focusing on like this younger generation of men who tend to be like, I don't know, there's some instances of like extreme radicalization and there's like deep dark webs and stuff that these guys go down, the incel, tendencies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of empathizes with that to some degree and kind of points it in the direction of there's not a lot of true masculinity figures who are promoting women and are letting them have, an equal foot in this, and kind of going into that,
Mm-hmm.
right extreme Christian nationalism that,
And it doesn't or demasculate you to let a woman do that.
right. And I think that's in his,
That's the point.
right, that's in his definition of it though, and I appreciate that because I'm like, yeah, but guys need to see more men doing that, not tearing down.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, do we need were there any other things we hit on?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we are both very pro women being in leadership because of the way we were raised, where we saw what male only leadership can do to a person, into we had no voice at all. And any opinions or thoughts that we had were irrelevant. And so being pounded that for years, into our brains and being brainwashed to believe that men are the final say and the only thing that matters is just so messed up. And so I think both of us have quite a bit of perspective on how that goes when men are the only choice. Like what the end result is. It's not great.
Right.
And so we definitely are pro women. I mean, I'm pro whatever is best.
Yeah.
And I don't think that just choosing someone because they're male or female, whatever, is not really the way to go. But there's nothing wrong with a woman being in power. And
well,
and a lot of times, women and men think different for sure. And maybe that's the change our country needs is
I don't know,
a different way of thinking.
Anyone can be a narcissistic asshole leader.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
I mean, and again, I think we get into trouble because our society tends to like get stuck in labels.
Yeah.
A man, a woman, a black person, right? Person of
Oh
color,
my gosh,
indigenous.
did you watch the interview?
So many labels, right? And we get like muddled down with that. And it's like, no, what is the best leader? Like, what is, who is showing qualities and characters of doing the right thing for most of the population?
Yeah.
And that's really where it needs to lie, regardless of label assigned, I mean,
yeah.
I don't care if it's a freaking flying monkey.
Yes.
If they're going to do a better job, then put them in, and obviously it's not going to be that, but,
I watched this interview. Like I said, I do try and listen to everything, but it's just so horrifying when you see miss such stupidity. I'm just going to use the word stupidity and ignorance when people are talking about groups of people, or you know what I mean, because they do get grouped. That's how people do group people into things.
I think identity politics is kind of our biggest like flaw. Where it's like, no, not one group of people all votes one way, not one group of people all thinks one way. So yeah, that is really to our detriment. I can only explain. I can do nothing about making you understand.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you say to stupid people.
Yes.
I can only explain it. I can't do anything about your understanding of it.
Oh, anyway. So, I mean, there's our thoughts, our experience,
We've seen where this leads.
Yes, we have.
We can
only
say it's not recommended, and it will lead to no good outcome for our gender.
Yeah. Horrifying. Anyway, let's talk something positive. Wins and losses.
Okay, and keep in mind, while this isn't going to air for a while, I'll try and go first. When we went to a baseball game.
I saw that. Did you see my comment? I said go sports.
I went to a sports ball game.
I know you're not a sports person.
It was fun. I went for the friends, so we had a group of 8 people. One gal didn't make it because she's just a badass. Throwing this out there to you. You know who you are. I don't know if she listens to us or not. A girlfriend from volleyball, and she's a badass. She's an officer in the Navy, and she was like, I'm going to try and make it. If I ghost you, it's because I'm still on the boat and I don't have access to my phone. Something went horribly wrong. And I'm like, okay, badass. But she didn't make it, but there were 7 of us there. And cousin had a buddy in from Pinot Camp from out of town, and
Ooh.
his mission was to see like as many baseball stadiums in the US as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
Petco Park's pretty freaking awesome. It's great. I mean, they just redid the whole thing. It's all the best like breweries from San Diego, a lot of the best food. It is kind of great. I kept
Mm-hmm.
asking for a Dodger dog, but there was none to be found.
Not in San Diego.
But they were playing the Dodgers, so our aunt was like following along. We sent her pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
It was fun. Let's
Yeah.
see, loss for the week. Uh let's see. My partner is gone. I guess his win in Portugal with his mom. That's why I'm cat sitting. So I'm without a partner. Being single after you've been with someone for a long time is weird. So I guess that's my loss because I'm like, I don't even know what to
Mm-hmm.
do with all this free time. I'm just gonna like, I don't know. Oh, go to sleep. No. But that's my loss. So they're getting back in another 6 days. So if everything
Yeah.
goes well. So
Yeah.
there's some it's good for me though. I'm like, I'm gonna go do stuff I wouldn't normally do when, they're gone. So
Sure.
anyway, how about you?
Okay, so my win is that I get to see you in person and mom in like a week. So I'm
Oh
super
yeah.
stoked about that.
Oh yeah.
That's a win. I get a break from monotony of work and work and work. And then my loss is um is my flippin' doctors.
Hmm.
So that's my loss. I had an appointment which I had to wait 4.5 weeks for. Went to the doctor and I went all the way there, which it's not far because I don't live in a huge town, but still, I got all the way into the office and they said, "Oh, the doctor called in sick. Let's reschedule you." I'm like, "Okay." So then I reschedule for a week later, go in, and they said, "He's not here and he's not expected to be here for 2 hours, so we need to reschedule you because he'll be way behind." I'm like, "Okay."
The fuck?
Yesterday was my next reschedule, and this is for something that I'm concerned about. Like, this is not like a routine shit. So I go yesterday, walk into the office, and the lady said, "Oh, we just got a call from his nurse. He's not going to make it today." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm finding a new doctor."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, you don't want to reschedule?" And I said, been there, done that 3 times. So today I'm seeing my primary doctor to get a referral for somebody else.
That's
So hopefully
insane.
I
I
can find
mean,
somebody else. It's insane.
there's I think a massive issue with that in the across the board, every state. It's
Yeah,
similar here. And I don't know what the solution is. I
I
think
don't either.
that we've got to get more help for medical in the US. It's insane. They're doing a little bit like I know this current administration has brought down some costs, but that's like the tip of the iceberg.
Oh no, our costs are insane. They have gone up exponentially.
No, I'm not talking about
For
insurance.
instance,
Insurance is bullshit. I'm talking
no,
about
insurance and doctors visits. So I went to the doctor
I'm talking
with
about the
insurance.
cost of drugs. That's what they've brought down
Oh, the
on
cost.
some things.
Okay.
That's
Okay, so I
minimal.
do
That's what
agree
I'm
with that.
saying.
That has come down because I don't even have a copay on some of my medication.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg, though. That's what I'm saying. I think we need more medical professionals. We need more price regulation. We need
Yeah.
better transparency about insurance. Insurance is bullshit. Like I said, it's like a tax on the poor people. It is so bad. And I'm like, the only way we're gonna get around this is raising taxes. But there's one easy fucking solution, and that's tax corporations. And this would carry the cost
Oh
of
yeah,
all of that. And it's just
absolutely.
it's like that has to happen like soon, or it's gonna go real south real quick.
Yep.
More
Yep.
than it is already. Yeah, I
Mhm.
understand. Medical school fail.
Medical sucks, but
Yep.
when is I get to see my family in person.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that 1 week. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited. I've got something to look forward to all the time. Like I always
I
like
know.
want to plan something or like have a trip or a just,
Same.
I mean, even if it's a freaking weekend or 2 days,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
something to look forward to. Which
I am
really
going to
helps. So,
schedule next trip too soon.
yes.
I'm
Me
just gonna
too.
do it, and then yeah, just gonna do it.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll do it. All
All
right.
right.
We'll chat with all of you later. By the way, once again, end of season 1.
Taking a break.
We are taking a break. We're gonna work on the book, publishing anyway. Hopefully get it out to more publishers and hopefully find a solution for that. We want you guys to be able to read our book. Our book is good. We have worked our asses on it. And we have worked our asses off on it.
Thank you.
And we have great information to share. So we really want to get it out there. If you know of a publisher looking or you have connections, hit us up. sistersdeclassified@gmail.com. And then also always we're on social, Facebook and Instagram.
And we will let you know prior to our next
Yes.
episode, so stay tuned.
Yes, we'll
In the
post
break.
on social.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Have a great day.
Sign off.
See you later, alligator.
After Wild Crocodile. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh.
See you soon, you
In a
big
minute.
baboon.
See you soon, you big baboon.
In 1998, I was the whistleblower in a massive pedophilia case involving the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church, Cornerstone Baptist Church in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I was the lead key witness in a case that took down an entire network of child abusers. Charles D. Miller was sent to prison, and this was prior to the statute of limitations law being lifted in Colorado. In fact, shortly thereafter, it was lifted, and he would have gotten life in prison. My sister and I wrote a book about what it was like growing up in the cult. We're looking for publishers. We are going to self-publish, but we need your help. If you know of anyone, hit us up. Contact info is in the show notes. Thank you kindly.